Today on DNVR Buffs Live, let's dive into this matchup. Did you or I or anyone else uncover any reason why Colorado should be 15-point underdogs? And also, we've got a new shirt to announce. Let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota Stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Prime Time. We did some homework.
We did do our homework.
We'll dig into this UCF game from all angles. We'll talk about Byron Baldwin and what's going on with his recruitment. The crazy situation at UNLV we'll dig into as well.
Speaking of homework, I think I might be the person who did the least homework that still has a college degree.
I'd like to challenge you.
Kids, if you're listening at home, don't be like us. And I'm being so serious. It made my life so much harder.
Yeah. I don't tend to make a lot of things easy on myself in that regard, so.
I'm glad you recognize that.
I mean, I'm honest with myself. All right, but we start today with the player who could change almost everything for the Buffs.
Is that what we're starting with?
What else? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Send it then.
All right, so we worked with our friends, new friends, Haley and Joe. You guys saw the banner in here yesterday. The campaign is off and running.
Yes, sir.
So now we got the shirt to back it up.
Boom.
Bang. It's going out on DNVR Buffs Twitter right now. And a couple cool things here. One, I always feel like one of the cool things that we can do here is help movements.
Yes.
I feel like we have such an awesome community of people that are willing to push forward a movement. So that I feel like we're playing our role here in pushing forward the movement. And it's really cool, I think, to have an opportunity to do that for a CU football player. Second is that a portion of the proceeds for this will go to Children's Hospital Colorado, which is a cause that Travis has worked with closely. So trying to do multiple good things at once. Look at us.
We're trying, man.
We're always trying.
That is fire, though. Go pick it up, DNVRlocker.com.
And while you're there, you can get this one, too.
What is the new store link? Is it right there?
Store link is store.allcitynetwork.com. Again, shout out to Haley and Joe, man, for starting the movement, starting the campaign.
And they had perfect timing with it, too.
Yeah, and that was honestly the first thing they reached out to us about. We're like, hey, we got to get this on shirts.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we got you.
There you go.
So it's been a cool, again, there's so many new experiences that come with this whole thing. And this has been a new one, too. Let's start a Heisman campaign, everyone.
Let's do it, man. Travis deserves it too, because he is, in my mind, without a doubt, the best player in the country.
I know, and it's so hard for me because I'm the ultimate Shedeur Sanders fan,
right?
And I think he also deserves to be in this conversation.
Yes, he does.
But I just think Travis is undeniable.
Yep.
And that that fires me up. So I think he's actually going to win this thing. But we can't rest on our laurels.
No.
We, the people, must push this forward.
We have to make some noise. All right, let's start with this game. And the player who could change everything for the Buffs, block bully, Chidozie Nwankwo. Coach Prime said yesterday he is back in the fold. I mean, if you went and dug into any of either the NDSU or the Nebraska game, you saw the impact that Chidozie had. You know, the Buffs did hang in there last week against Baylor in terms of the run game, but this is a big time plus for a team who is the best rushing team in the country right now.
Yeah, man, this is everything, honestly. Honestly, not to take away from any of the guys that filled in.
Yes.
Because Shane Cokes, Big Quinn, all of these guys, Rayyan Buell, who am I forgetting?
I mean, Amari.
Yeah, Torian Carter briefly before he went down.
Yep.
All of these guys truly have stepped up. And Quinn Barnes, I think we might have uncovered a gem by him getting out on the field. So the combination of those guys is really, really exciting. But honestly, block bully is, in my opinion, the best interior defensive lineman Colorado has.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the game that you need him. And it's obvious because they want to run the football. But at the same time, like, you really need to take away something from them.
Yes.
It's the same thing as, like, when you're facing Air Force. I know I've made this comp before, but, like, Air Force basically builds their entire offense. That whole, veer is built off the fullback dive.
Right.
If you can't take that away, you're cooked.
Yeah.
Because now you have to, divert resources to the inside. It opens up the outside. Everything falls apart. You have to be able to take something away from UCF. And I think the thing that Colorado can take away is the interior running game.
Yep.
And having block bully out there is essential to that.
I mean, that's a great point, man. I mean, really, I think when you boil down Gus Malzahn's offense, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football, whether it's with the quarterback or the running back in between the tackles. They love to pull guards in either misdirection or off of an option, or because they're just saying, we're running this way. So that is exactly what they're going to try and do. That's what CU has to stop. And getting Chidozie back is just, I mean, it's massive. I mean, again, his level of play at this point with these linebackers playing the way that they are, I mean, that's the recipe for this defense to, I think, really take the next step and assert themselves as one of the better defenses in the country.
Amen. I don't know when the right time is to say this in this show, so I'm just going to say it now.
Okay.
I do this a lot. I'm sorry. This win could be a statement and a turning point.
Yes, it could.
I'm not saying that if they don't win, this won't happen. But if they do win, sound all the alarms of, like, we are on the verge of a special season.
Yes.
Again, they are 14 to 15 point underdogs on the road. I'm not saying the season rests on this game. I'm saying you go out there to Central Florida and you beat a team that is favored by 2 touchdowns over you, and we'll talk about why here in a second. Everyone perks up. Buffs started 3-1 last year. Now they can get to 4-1. This is a new uncharted territory for them. The whole country will be saying, okay, we undervalued them. Mm-hmm. We didn't think they had the ability to stop the run like that. All of the things that I think we already believe about this team will start to be believed on a much larger scale. And you'll start to hear things like, well, I don't know who's on the schedule that they can't beat.
Right.
And things like that. So this one is a massive, massive opportunity to change the narrative.
It's a big barometer game. Like, where do you actually stand in this Big 12 right now? And I think we're going to get a great idea of it on Saturday. Back to UCF's offense. Gap discipline is going to be key. And it's another reason why getting Chidozie back is so huge. Because they like to pull the guards so much, because they like to do, the RPOs, the speed option, the read option, the QB power, the GT power, all this stuff to create misdirection. You can't be over pursuing gaps, and it's a big do your job week, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Chidozie, just from that factor, is massive. We already know what these linebackers are capable of. We're going to need big games from the edge guys and Big Quinn, Shane Cokes, Rayyan Buell, Amari, all those guys. But gap discipline is really what it boils down to for me on defense.
Yeah. This is a game, and this is a or an offense that tests your trust of your teammates.
Yes.
And the best defenses I've ever seen are ones where every single guy trusted the guy next to them. And that's not just blind trust. That trust is earned by the way that you prepared for the game, by the way that you play on the field. But here's why it's so important. Because this is hypothetical, and I don't think this is true at all. But let's just say Nakai Hill-Green doesn't trust Levante Bentley to be in his spot. So he's cheating just a little bit towards, okay, if he's not there, I got to be there.
Right.
What happens then is you think it's going that way, you jump that way, you open up your lane, it goes. That's a very simplistic way of explaining it. But all of that stuff happens in every portion of the field. You know, can the inside linebacker trust the edge to set it so that he can get outside and trap it back in?
Yeah.
You know, does the safety trust the corner to push it back towards them? Whatever it may be, everyone has to trust each other. And the second that you don't and you start trying to do someone else's job, you both end up being wrong and both end up looking bad.
Exactly.
So these guys, and I really think they're built for this. I really think that Cam Silman-Craig trusts Levante Bentley. And I really think that Levante Bentley trusts Block Boley and Anquin Barnes and whoever else is in front of him to do their job. And if everyone trusts each other and then everyone follows through on that trust, they're going to have a fun time on Saturday night.
Yep. I mean,
Saturday afternoon. So
yes.
I'm not used to saying not night right now.
You mentioned Cam. I think it's a big game for the safeties too. If Shiloh's back, that's huge, I think, for, you know, helping to control this running game.
I don't think he will be, to be honest.
I don't think he will be either, honestly. I mean, kind of what Coach said, you know, with the bye week on the horizon, I think it's just smart to let him have that extra time. But either way, if it's Carter, whoever it is, if it's Savion Riley, if it's Herm Smith, the safeties are going to play a big factor. You know, just coming downhill, cleaning up the run game, and also just with all the motion that UCF likes to run. There's a lot of jet motion, a lot of, you know, like side-to-side return motion, and they love to run play action. They run play action with how much they run the ball. They run play action a lot, and they do these, we were talking about it yesterday, not in this context, but they run that jet motion, and then the guy wheels up the sideline type of thing. They scored a touchdown against TCU with RJ Harvey like that.
Yep.
They love doing that type of stuff, you know, kind of over-flooding zones, areas of the field. But as we know, CU's going to man up.
The man ability of this team is going to be greatly tested. Or I'm not fully sure that Robert Livingston isn't willing to throw some zone looks at them just when they think they're getting man. Disguise some zone in there, because I think KJ Jefferson will give you some chances. And I think that while he's a very experienced quarterback, I think that there's a real chance that you could get him to think he's getting a man look and get one of those wheels open and just have someone drop, like Travis look like he's, you know, going one way and then drop into the flat to go get that. I think it's possible to kind of scheme him up and confuse him in that way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what CU's percentage is. I remember seeing it after week 1. It was like 78% man. I wonder what it's at by now.
We can try and find it. Does Travis follow Kobe Hudson? Because he was, you know, you wanted to talk, or you wanted to watch the game last night.
Okay, yeah. So, well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you wanted to watch the ending of the TCU game to see why they came back. They just kind of threw it at Kobe Hudson, and he made plays.
Yeah, so yesterday I watched the first half, came here with takeaways, and as you might imagine, a game that started 28-7 and ended 35-34, it was a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
And you said exactly what I wrote in my notes, which is the reason that they came back is because they just started saying, well, we have no other choice but to just trust Kobe Hudson. At the same time, I think every one of his big catches were against zero coverage.
Yeah, there's no one back. He's just burning the DB one-on-one.
Like, you know, you only have had to play college football 25 a couple times to know if you have a great receiver against zero coverage, it's just like he's going to be open.
Start the fight song.
Yeah, exactly. And boy, I just can't agree with the way that TCU played defense in the second half of that game. And I think that if they had been a little bit smarter and just said, like, we're going to make you earn it. Like, you can afford up 28-7 to let UCF score touchdowns. And obviously you don't want to let them do anything. But you know what I'm saying. You can't afford to let them score 2 play touchdowns, which happened. It's just literally RPO slant to Kobe Hudson. Very next play is a bomb to Kobe Hudson. Touchdown. Now it's like, well, you just took 45 seconds off the clock, and now they're 7 points closer to you.
Yep.
The defensive approach was crazy. I would have, if I were them, just tried to stop big runs.
Even then, they allowed a big RJ Harvey run for a touchdown.
They did, but that's also while they're in like these like zero like man pressure stuff. That's like, I understand. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if CU comes out in some of that early. If you're up 28-7, you don't need to expose yourself like that on the back end.
Right.
Pause. I just couldn't believe it. Regardless of that, Kobe Hudson will eat up man coverage at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of how I feel about the run game is you are going to get gashed by them at some point.
Yep.
This is not like going against CSU where you're just like, yeah, we can stop them from running the entire game. And you did get gashed against Wildcat, which, by the way, get ready for Wildcat.
Get ready, yep.
So you're going to get gashed. But to me, you don't have to get desperate with giving easy man coverage opportunities. That being said, if I were the defensive coordinator, I would have Travis travel with him. Because I don't know if KJ Jefferson completed a pass downfield to any other wide receiver.
Not that I can remember. Well, RJ Harvey on the wheel for the touchdown.
But he's I meant a wide receiver.
Okay, yeah.
It was the Kobe Hudson show when they wanted to go downfield. I just don't know if they're going to do that with Travis. I would love to see it happen.
Let's take a break. I've got a few more takeaways on the UCF offense before we get to the other side of the ball. And shout out our friends over at Empire today. They got our studio looking pretty clean, man, with this brand new flooring, or was brand new. When did we get this flooring? It's been a minute now.
Last year?
I would say it's at least been a year.
Well, it looks brand new. So shout out our friends over at Empire today. If your home or business needs a new floor, they're the people to hit up. And get in on this offer. You can receive a $350 off discount when you use the promo code DNVR. Some restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. Shout out Empire today.
Oh, I went to the wrong thing.
Bet365.
Also, shout out to Bet365. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to be able to bet from where I am this weekend. I'll have to do some research on that.
14-point dogs on Bet365 right now.
I'm not allowed to bet on that. We already know that. I'm not, like I said, me betting on games is guilty until proven innocent. So we are 2-0 and I don't. Definitely going to keep testing that out this week.
All right, love it.
As much as I am tantalized by that plus 450 money line. Anyways, get over to Bet365 if you want to bet on the game. And the best part is you can deposit $10 to unlock the bet and get offer. Place a bet of $5 or more on anything. And as soon as that bet is settled, you get $200 in bonus bets. I had a buddy who did this. He activated the offer, and he was like, he was like us. He was leaving to a state where it wasn't legal.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I got to get these bets in, but he needed to get his bonus bets.
Right.
So he just found a live money line of a random European basketball game with like 2 minutes left. Bet on that. Ended up winning the bet. And then unlocked his $200 in bonus bets to spread out across everything he was trying to do. So
that's how it's done.
Well done by him. A little life hack for you guys if you want to do this. Anyways, you must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
You kind of touched on a few of my remaining takeaways here. Get ready for Wildcat on the goal line. They scored against Sam Houston State doing that, and they did that against TCU with RJ Harvey as the acting quarterback. So,
yeah, this is going to be I actually expect UCF to come out and Wildcat on the first play of the game.
Interesting. Set the tone, huh?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Colorado has not shown the ability to defend the run when it's equal blockers. You know what I mean? When it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Just hat on a hat.
When it's hat on a hat, but there's another word. It doesn't matter.
Even numbers in the box.
Yeah, sure. They haven't, whether it's QB draw or Wildcat, we haven't shown the ability to defend that. I'm not saying we can't. But if I'm Gus Malzahn, if I'm UCF, I want to find out immediately. What did they figure out? Did they figure out how to stop this when the numbers are even? And so I wouldn't be surprised to see that from the very beginning of the game. They're good at it. It's dangerous. And I hope, remember when we were talking about the run game going into CSU and Unk told us there was a whole practice period designated to inside run.
Yeah.
I hope that there was a whole practice period every day dedicated to Wildcat and QB draw.
I hope so, because they're going to see it. Tackling is going to be massive in this game. Jefferson's only been sacked 3 times. TCU got to him at least once or twice. You know, heavy hits on him, and he's massive, so he just shakes it off. So CU's got to tackle. You got to tackle these running backs as well. And then this is a very disciplined team. One of the least penalized and least turnover-prone teams, offenses in the country through 3 games. So you got to play sound. You got to tackle. It's fundamentals and discipline this week.
Yeah, KJ Jefferson is honestly built like a college power forward.
He really is.
It's ridiculous.
Anything else on CU defense versus UCF offense?
Yes. I know they know this, but for the fans, they will run in any situation.
Yes.
There is no such thing as a passing down against UCF. They ran the ball on 3rd and 7 late in the 3rd quarter from their own 20-yard line.
While they were down, 20-some points?
Yes, and gashed them.
Yeah.
Because who's expecting that? They ran the ball on a 3rd and 5 late in the game with time expiring on their last drive. And not even in the we'll run this because we'll set up 4th down. Like I said, it was in their own territory.
Yeah.
You can never think they're definitely passing here.
Yep.
And that, to me, it's one of the most frustrating things to happen to a defense when you have 3rd and long and they just run draw and get it.
I know.
The Buffs have to be prepared for this. On yesterday's show, I said KJ Jefferson's not really going to fit it in tight windows. And I still think, on the whole, if you can get him to have to do that a lot, he won't be able to do it consistently. That said, that RPO game, especially if you're just giving, again, 0 coverage, can be pretty dangerous. And he has no problem throwing that slant behind your defense.
Yeah, so that glance slant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially to Kobe Hudson, who's always open on it. At least it was in that game.
I mean, that's their base play is inside zone with a read option glance from Kobe Hudson.
Yep. On the other side, I told you I'm losing sleep over our kicking game.
Yeah.
I'm gaining sleep over their kicking game.
Oh, I was going to save this, but TCU blocked 3 kicks against this team. One was an extra point. The other 2 were field goals.
Yep.
DJ McKinney, it's time.
Let's go.
It's time to get around the edge and get his hand on a kick.
I feel like I had something else, but I'm forgetting what it was.
Other side of the ball then?
Sure.
So to the other side of the ball, CU's offense versus UCF's defense. Immediate thing that stood out to me, these corners are suspect. I don't think they can cover. I don't think they can tackle. If CU can protect, if they can run the ball consistently and they can protect, because this defense will blitz. They will send more than 4 rushers fairly often. If CU can hold up, there are going to be plenty of opportunities for big plays and touchdowns.
Yeah, 100%. And I just hope that because our best quality is the vertical passing game.
Yeah.
It's what Shedeur and these wide receivers do the absolute best. I almost think that UCF wants you to fall into that trap a little bit because they are going to bring heavy pressure and they're saying we can get to you faster than you can get that off. I would love to see some built-in outlet stuff for Shedeur into those blitzes. They're bringing them off the corner, they're bringing them from the safety, and the old saying is throw into the blitz. I hope they check a little bit into drag, slant, just right into that area and get the ball into these playmakers' hands. I mean,
again, use the speed to your advantage on this offense.
We have not done a great job, I've thought, of countering pressure teams.
Yes.
Especially last season. when you're going up against Nebraska like this year and they just get pressure with 4 every time, you're kind of in big trouble.
Right.
But what teams started to do last year, I mean, I hate to even bring up their names, but Stanford, in the second half of that game, just said, like, we're bringing pressure.
Yep.
And I didn't think CU countered it well. I think UCF is going to try and take from that and say, like, let's not give him time to get the ball down the field. That can also be exposed. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you get man coverage with these guys, just get the ball into their hand and let them work. I mean, Jimmy Horn, LaJohntay Wester, Travis Hunter, obviously.
Right. And another thing I noticed from UCF secondary, they played off a lot, man. Whether they were in zone or man, these cornerbacks are at least 5 to 10 yards off the wide receivers, off the line of scrimmage. So the same thing. I would love to see more of a quick game, more of a creative quick game from CU. Just get the athletes in space, try to get them in catch and run opportunities, and then I think you can rip off chunks of yards with that. That being said, this is a fine front, I think. They're fairly good.
Yeah.
They're able to create pressure on their own.
Lee Hunter is a good pass rusher.
Yep, they're able to shed in the run game. So things could get difficult again, kind of like versus Baylor, because I think there's some similarities there in terms of play style for that front, in terms of, keeping offensive consistency.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is another game where you run. It's just you're going to have to stay with the run, but not expect too much of the run.
Yes.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest challenges for Pat Shurmur, that he certainly didn't pass in Lincoln, but I thought did a really good job last week, at least for the first 2.5, 3 quarters. Of just saying, like, yeah, we just have to do this to keep him honest.
Yep.
And you kind of trust Shedeur of, like, you get 2 downs to get it to move the chains.
Right.
Even if this run isn't working. But you saw as the game went on and Colorado got in more pass obvious situations, it got harder and harder and harder for Shedeur.
Yeah. Just some more stat stuff. This is inflated because of the TCU game, but UCF has given up 2 touchdown passes per game through the air. That's 117th out of 134 FBS schools. Again, 4 against TCU. They have not allowed a rushing touchdown and are one of the best defenses in the country. Against the run, again, small sample size. They've only played 3 games. They were on bye last week. Their non-conference schedule is kind of weird. I think they play Florida next week, so that's why it's all mixed up. Similar to their offense, defense is well-disciplined. They're not prone to penalties. They're 40th in the country in terms of penalties against them, and that's least penalties against them. And they've only created 1.3 turnovers per game. That's 68, so about middle of the road in creating turnovers. So it's just about protecting Shedeur. You protect Shedeur, you're going to win this football game.
I think so, too. And, yes, King Mars, Dallin will be back, which is great.
Yep.
You got more on this?
That's about it for me.
Okay. I have to say, my new favorite thing to watch outside of my normal YouTube rotation, which I guess this is now going to be in my new normal YouTube rotation, is the PFF college guys. I've never felt more validated because, like I said, I was walking around to anyone who would listen yesterday just being like, can you explain to me why UCF is 15-point favorites?
Yeah.
And no one had an answer. So then I'm like, all right, I got to search outside sources.
Right.
And I turned on these 2 guys from PFF, and they said they almost said word for word what you and I have been saying all week. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not being, too much of a homer here.
Right.
This spread feels crazy. And then both of them picked the Buffs straight up against 15-point dogs.
Let's go,
Both
man.
of them said, well, the first guy said, this might be considered a really bold take, but I'm taking Colorado straight up. And the other guy goes, that is a plus 450 money line. He's like, yeah, I know. It's crazy. He goes, I am also taking the plus 450 money line.
Let's go, man.
Sometimes Vegas knows something we don't. Maybe this is one of those times, but I've not heard a single person, not even a UCF fan, say that they think that number is correct. I think these 2 teams are pretty evenly matched.
I agree. And if you ask me, I spent 2.5, 3 hours today watching their games. I don't have a great answer for you other than kind of like CU. They've got great impact players in KJ, Kobe Hudson, and RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
That's really all I can even muster to explain the 14-point line.
Yeah, and I have a lot of respect for those guys.
Of course.
Those guys are dogs.
Yes.
For real. But I don't know. I feel like narratives from last year are like carrying over about Colorado not being able to stop the run.
They are. And I've seen it all throughout since the Baylor game and leading up to the Baylor game. This team can't stop the run. They're not good up front defensively. They just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think of this, like, I'm not sitting here saying Colorado wins this game going away. They win this easily.
Right.
I'm just saying I don't understand this conversation at all from a point spread standpoint.
And look, they are on the road, but there's a lot of Florida guys on this team, and I think that no one is considering the excitement that this team has going home to Florida, basically. And as you mentioned, the crowd there's going to be a lot of Buffs fans out there.
I think there's going to be a lot of Buffs fans. I know Buffs fans were asking, like, should we coordinate a color? It's not going to really matter, I don't think. But if I were, I don't know. I mean, the team's going to be in white. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That if you wore white, if you were into the white stripe section for the first game, you had to wear white to that game. White out last game.
Yep.
Then you wear white again. I don't know anyone who has 3 good white Buff shirts.
Well, they got to do what you do. I mean, they've won all those games that they've been wearing white so far, so wear the same damn shirt.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. Let's chill and shout out our friends over at Coors Light. The homies, if you're out here in Colorado, actually, and aren't going to be able to make the trip to Orlando, just come down to the DNVR bar, crush some Coors Light with a bunch of diehards and some Buffs fans. We got it on draft. We got the Silver Bullets. We got the Stubby Banquet bottles as well. But Coors Light's the GOAT, man. I had some Victory Coors Lights Saturday evening, late, very late when I got home, but they hit.
No disrespect to a Victory Coors Light, but I went with a little bit darker, stronger Victory beverage that night.
Respect. But make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Sorry.
Circle K.
Circle K. We need you.
Please, God.
Have
they heard us?
We need you across the street. But we know that we already have you this weekend. At least y'all do. Circle K will hook it up for you guys to have snacks on the bus while you're out there in Orlando. You know, the weather could be crazy. You guys are changing your travel plans. All sorts of crazy stuff happening. But one thing you can always count on is Circle K. It's going to be there for you. And when you're an Inner Circle Rewards program member, you are going to get discounts on gas, discounts on snacks, discounts on everything that you can get at your friendly local Circle K store. So check out the website and download the Circle K app to sign up for the Inner Circle and get exclusive offers.
Shout out Circle K. Shout out Coors Light. All right, a few things I just wanted to touch on here. And shout out to Matt H. at ScoBuffs22 on Twitter for kind of bringing this up because we've seen this before, but this is pretty blatant. So Byron Baldwin, the 4-star safety, committed to Indiana. He came to Colorado for the Baylor game on the visit. Steve Wiltfong put in a prediction for him to flip to Colorado. Since that has happened, Byron Baldwin has been offered by Penn State, who just lost Antonio Branch Jr. to Colorado, Virginia Tech, and Mizzou.
Wow. Shameless.
It really is.
Shameless. I mean, I guess you could say, like, well, they thought he was firm in his commitment, and now that they see that he might not be, they're trying to get back in the mix. But that's not accidental.
No, it's clear biases against CU. I mean, this happens all the time, where CU targets a guy, and you see other teams start to target that player, and try to flip them. I mean, how many recruiting battles have the Buffs been in for multiple like blue chip recruits over the last 20 months or whatever since Coach Prime has been here?
Countless.
So I think that's what's going on right now with Byron Baldwin. Again, I don't know anything else on the situation, but just putting pieces together from that, it's clear that they don't want him to go to CU. The rest of the country almost like has banded together to say no, he is not going to Colorado.
Is that all you have on that?
Pretty much.
I have another random thought that I want to hit.
Go ahead.
Okay, one of the worst narratives out there is CU fans act like they're Texas or Alabama.
Yes.
I don't think anyone does that.
I don't think so either.
Like, I don't know when like pulling for your team and like standing on business for your team became a bad thing.
It's bad for us. We're not allowed to do it, apparently.
It's absolutely absurd. The other one is kind of along the same lines. You beat Baylor. Stop acting like it's your Super Bowl, blah, blah, about them just celebrating in the locker room.
I know. It's insane, dude.
What the hell? Has anyone ever watched what happens after a football game ever?
It's rules for thee and not for me.
The Broncos literally have call their winning locker room, and obviously this comes from Sean Payton with the Saints.
Yeah.
Club dub.
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't matter who they beat. They pump smoke in there. They've got the music blaring. They've literally got like disco balls and strobe lights in the locker room after they beat anyone.
Yep.
That's just, you only get so many opportunities to play a football game. You get 12, you're promised 12 before the season starts. These guys aren't allowed to celebrate after they win?
Nope. It's not professional. The NFL's not going to like it. It's not leadership material.
It blows my mind that people criticize them for that.
Yeah.
I mean, literally just the video that I posted from, well, CU posted on Instagram and I posted it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Of Travis after the CSU game, like laughing and being like, I guess those Instagram followers helped us tonight, which is like a hilarious, like very tongue-in-cheek clapback. You should see the amount of hateful comments on there about like, wow, you beat CSU. Why are you acting like you won the Super Bowl? How is that acting like you won the Super Bowl?
I don't know, man. Last thing I got today is just this insane UNLV stuff that's going on.
Ooh.
Look, the NCAA, we've talked about it a lot. They basically turned on the faucet full speed and then walked away when it comes to NIL and all this stuff. So what's going on is Matthew Sluka, a senior quarterback at UNLV.
Sluka Doncic, as I've been calling him.
You might be the only one.
No, I think other people call him that too.
Well, he's got a 48% completion.
Oh, tough. Are you on the anti-Sluka side?
No. Let me set the table here.
This is an interesting way of starting.
Well, you started it this way. He has announced that he will be redshirting this season after NIL obligations have not been fulfilled by UNLV. You can see the reports coming out on Twitter and stuff. There's obvious, UNLV's coming out to kind of back themselves. Sluka and his camp are also trying to back themselves and saying that, we signed this agreement. This is why he's here. He needs this money. There's people accusing him of quitting on the team and stuff. And now there's a second player, a running back, who has now done the same thing. Utilizing his red shirt after 3 games to leave the team and re-enter the portal when he can.
Not to mention, they are undefeated and ranked.
They are 3-0, and they are ranked, 24?
Yeah.
25? Something like that?
Which means they have a legitimate shot to make the college football playoff.
Yes, and this is their starting quarterback.
Yep. Who did they beat that was Power 4?
Was it Kansas?
Yes. I thought he was a dog in that game. Reminded me of Jake Hayner from Fresno
What
State.
a legend.
Back in the day. Yeah,
Just an absolute legend.
I love
Jake
watching
Hayner.
that guy play.
But yeah,
Okay.
Sluka is 43% completion on. He's only thrown 48 passes, but he is their leading rusher right now.
Yeah, bro. He was trucking people.
Yeah.
Look, we have... Actually, no, let me start with this, because I'm going to take the CU angle on things. If Shedeur Sanders did this, the world would come apart at the seams.
Oh, if Shedeur Sanders did this, They might have to cancel the college football season.
They probably would try. So that was my first reaction. Is obviously he would never do that, but if he did, they'd probably have to shut down Twitter.
Yep.
My second takeaway on this is we have absolutely opened Pandora's box in college football, and just like welcome to the new world. It is what it is. We all know the pros and cons of NIL. And I don't even necessarily know if this is a con, but this is a side effect. And then here's my main takeaway. These kids have been lied to and lied to and lied to throughout the entire history of college sports.
Yep.
And they've never had anything to stand on.
Right.
But now, with the transfer portal the way it is, you can no longer just lie and lie and lie and lie to keep guys on campus.
Yep.
They can leave whenever they want.
Yep.
And so you actually have to follow through on your promises. And I'm obviously choosing to believe, and I think the evidence of another player jumping in the portal or announcing his intentions to jump in the portal certainly backs up this side of it. I'm choosing to believe that they did tell him something and they didn't follow through on it. Not that he came back to the table, said, we're 3-0, I want more money. And we don't know, but I'm guessing, I'm choosing to believe that side of it. Good on him. If you are working at one job, another job came in and said, we're going to give you a raise to come to our job, and actually we're going to give you more benefits, and you're going to have more vacation time.
And you're being promoted to a manager position.
And you're being promoted to a manager position. And you went there, and 1 week went by, or one pay period went by, and you didn't get a check. And 2 pay periods went by, and you didn't get a check. And you went to the management and the HR, you're like, hey, did I get all my forms in? I sent my routing number and everything. Like, what's going on? And they're like, just wait a little bit longer. Another pay period goes by, and you're not getting a check. Eventually, you're saying, F this.
Yep.
Everyone.
Yep.
No one just when you are agreed to something and promise something, no one just accepts never getting it.
Right.
So it's shocking to me, maybe more than anything, that UNLV, which the report out there is $100,000
for the quarterback. Yes.
with the risk of their quarterback leaving while they're undefeated and ranked, they weren't able to scrounge up $100,000. That's the most shocking part to me. And if they were calling his bluff and he went through with it, I say more power to him.
That's the wildest thing about this situation to me. Apparently, BFN is worth 6 times more than this guy.
Give me a break, man.
Isn't that hilarious? Yeah, man. I mean, it's such a... I don't know. I don't want to make a judgment on this, but I tend to side with the kid because, as you mentioned, they've been getting screwed. Look at Jaden Rashada. We just talked about this over the offseason about how he signed a deal with Florida, and now there's a whole lawsuit about that, finger pointing. And I think we learned in that situation too, there's so much more out there with this situation that we just don't even know about.
Yep.
So making any accusations of he quit on the team, blah, 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 is just totally unfair to me. I get why people would say that, but I don't think I wouldn't go there without knowing the whole situation. No one knows, and this happens all the time, as you mentioned. And going back to before NIL, this stuff happened. So
Totally.
I don't know. It does suck for UNLV. I mean, obviously, they're having a great season to this point, but I don't know. Pay the people what you agree to before they show up on campus, basically.
Yeah, man. It's such a bummer to me. And honestly, you know what I think is going to happen? Sluka is going to get a lot more money to go to a different team. And I can't necessarily hate on him for that. Who knows what his NFL potential prospects are? How old is he?
I don't have his exact age, but I can tell you the only stats I see are for this year on his player page. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's really young. So he does become much more accurate and eventually becomes an NFL caliber quarterback. But there's a chance, and any college player should acknowledge this. This is your one chance to earn money while playing football.
Oh, he's been playing a while.
Okay.
He went up a division. He played starting in 2020 for Holy Cross.
Okay.
Of course, season canceled because of COVID. So spring 2021 was his first year, and he was named the Patriot League Rookie of the Year then.
So this is actually his 4th season.
21 times 2, 22, 23, 24. This would be his 5th season if he went all the way through.
So maybe this is his last chance.
But again, he's a graduate transfer too, I think, which as we've discussed, basically means he kind of has a whole set of new rules and he can kind of do whatever he wants.
Yeah. I guess my point here, though, is like you're not going to get these opportunities necessarily to earn money while playing football. And so if he, found out, one, he was not getting paid what he was promised originally. And if he was smart, he then said, like, what's my market value now? And went and found out what that is. And knows that maybe he can make $500,000 next year playing college football, which $500,000 might sound like nothing in the way that NIL has gone so far. But hell, man, that's a lot of money to start your life with when you get out of college.
Yep. And this guy's played 44 career games. He has a started in 40 career games, has a 31-9 record, has thrown for 65 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, and has 39 rushing touchdowns. So honestly, kind of good on him for recognizing his value.
By the way, everyone's favorite word, injunction. It's my least favorite word, by the way. But because Tennessee and Virginia sued the NCAA, this is what someone told me today, they got a injunction on recruiting regulations which allows collectives to tamper.
Oh, my God.
So collectives aren't considered part of the program, so they can reach out to anyone right now.
Yeah.
So, of course, this guy knows what his market value is.
That's insane.
Yep. All these lawsuits towards the NCAA are just like actually making the situation worse.
Well, maybe the NCAA should have just actually figured this out instead of turning on the faucet and walking away.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe the NCAA should just go away once and for good.
Well, that too. I mean, if you're going to blame anyone in this process, I think it's them. I mean, they're the reason we're in this situation. They're the reason why collectives have all the power right now. They're the reason why players can kind of do whatever they want, especially when they're graduates at this point. They don't have rules or guardrails for any of this stuff.
Yeah. The fact that they didn't say, we need to put together a task force and make a full plan for how we're going to roll this out, and they just said, all right, fine, pay the players, and just walked away, is absolutely absurd. And I know collectives have been tampering. Everyone's tampering all the time.
Yep.
But right now, you can just do it willy-nilly.
Pretty much, man. All right, let's take our final break and go to the Toyota chat. Shout out our friends over at Z Biotics. Pre-alcohol, as it's called.
Yes.
Because, we're getting a little bit older. We just don't bounce back the way we used to after a night of partying. And you're going to have a wedding this weekend, so you better get some Z Biotics ready. Whether you're tailgating on a vacation, weddings, birthdays, and reunions, there's so much going on. Get the most out of your summer plans by stocking up on pre-alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/DNVR Buffs to get 15% off your first order when you use DNVR Buffs at checkout. It's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they will refund you, no questions asked. Again, zbiotics.com/DNVR Buffs. Use the code DNVR Buffs at checkout for 15% off. Shout out Z Biotics.
Also, shout out to Chinook Seedery, the best seeds in the game. We're about to run out because we've gone through, I don't know, 10,000 seeds at least here at DNVR. They hooked it up for us, and we're super thankful for them for that. And they're going to hook it up again, I'm sure. But if you want to get in on some of the best seeds in the game, go to ChinookSeedery.com and use the code BUFFS for 20% off your order. Jake loves the Parmesan pepper.
Yep, and the Hatch.
Mine are the Hatch and the barbecue. So go try them out.
To the Toyota chat we go. Who's up first today?
Doesn't like injunction, but says willy-nilly. I just mean injunction always means I got to learn some legal bullshit about what's going on with the NCAA.
Yep. Break out your magnifying glass because we're going into the fine print.
Hate it.
What's up, Tim? Can you bring some to UCF game to sell shirts? We don't actually have the shirts, so.
But the shirts actually are made in Florida.
Yep. So sorry, I can't help you there. Jason, any word if this game is going to be played or rescheduled? We have not heard a single thing yet on that.
I'll be the meteorologist here. No, I'm just kidding. From everything I've heard, it doesn't sound like Orlando will be impacted too much. mostly just getting some of the outer bands. And then 2, it will be passed by the time the game happens. And this is totally hearsay, but I saw some people talking about how like a lot of times after a hurricane, it's like super calm and dry afterwards.
Okay.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that.
I mean, I honestly have no idea what to expect. I've never had to deal with this, so.
Yeah, I have one time when I was in Mexico, but we just stayed inside. It was pretty boring.
King Mars, can you do any oversized shirts? I think I was on the page. I think you can go up to 3X.
But you can always email merch@thednvr.com to make any special requests. I'm not guaranteeing they'll say yes, but
I mean, on the page for the tee, it says XL, 2XL, 3XL. So there's some options.
maybe it means like extra long.
Oh,
or,
I don't know about that. Then yeah. Two Favorite Uncle says, what do you all think about this version of our O-line, left to right, Seaton, Mayers, Tyler Brown, Benson, Houston?
I don't think they're changing center.
I would be shocked if they did at this point.
And like, obviously you got to find what your best 5 is, but like, how many times can you move Tyler Brown?
I know, for real.
He's playing well at guard now. You got to like, I don't know. I'm not saying got to do what's fair, but like, eventually you're gonna hurt him by moving him around so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, hopefully we don't see too much more movement. Honestly, we can't keep moving the offensive line every week.
No,
during the game, all this stuff. We can't keep.
It kind of sounds like that's gonna happen though.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at this point, but they need to find a combination. When do we leave? We are leaving on Friday morning now. Yes.
Which means I got to move some things around, but I can probably be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll be live from the DNVR bar tomorrow. I'll be here at least. He's got to figure some stuff out, but yeah, there will be a show from here tomorrow. Coach Barry asks what happened to Alto. You don't even hear about him at ASU.
Well, I never understood Alto going to ASU because they have one of the most fun running backs in the country in Cam Scattaboo.
Yep.
And like, I can't remember who said what, but I thought it was something about like wanting to be a feature back or something like that. So I don't know. They're not taking Scat off the field unless they're like blowing someone out or getting blown out.
Yep.
He's their team.
He really is. Honestly, I don't really have an answer for that question. I don't know what happened to Alto. Be a room changer. Do y'all think KJ still has a picture of Shedeur in his locker?
What was the quote again? The Skip Bayless quote that was in his locker?
Oh, man. Let me try and find this. But I think it was something along the lines of...
Like he's the best quarterback in the country?
Best quarterback in the Big 12 in the country-ish.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it was like not only the best quarterback in the Big 12, but the best in the country. I don't know. Yeah, that was weird from the start, but
yeah,
I guess we'll probably find out. By the way, some people were saying Nebraska acted like it was their Super Bowl after they beat Colorado. Like, to me, like they just won. And Bucky always says it best. That's what you're supposed to do.
They won a rivalry game.
Yeah, they won. They
after not winning for over 5,000 days.
They hit the Shedeur. They're playing perfect timing. Like, good for them.
Yep,
they won.
The quote is, he's not just the best quarterback in the Big 12 conference, but he's the best quarterback in the country.
And I took that personally.
And KJ took that personally.
It's true, so.
I agree.
But hey, respect to him, you know. You want that title.
Right. Actually, go back to the chat real quick, Alyssa. That's a good point. Someone said, Jennifer, Alto didn't say that, someone else did, and he didn't approve. So I don't know.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
So I still don't know exactly why he entered and what he was looking for, but.
Yep. There's so many of these situations. It's hard to keep track of them, but I shouldn't have said that because you're right. He didn't want him to speak for him in that way.
Yeah.
And we love Alto.
Alto is one of my favorite guys, man.
Yeah.
Super chats from Devin. Why is Buell's playtime limited? Blasphemous. Simply, I think there's other players ahead of him on the depth chart.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with
Everyone.
Yes.
Well, and then, like, I saw today people were posting videos of Stojanovic kicking the ball out of the end zone in high school. If he can do it and the other guys can't, he'll be out there. Like, there's no conspiracy to not put him out there.
If he can do it, the coaches would know because they would have seen it at practice and they would feel comfortable putting him out there.
Yep.
If they're not putting him out there,
different or what?
Yes.
But trust me, no one wants the ball to go out of the end zone on kickoffs more than Deion Sanders.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you think Coach wants to get up on the press conference podium and have to talk about kickoffs every week?
No,
he's tired of it too, man.
Yeah, everyone wants the ball out of the back of the end zone. Whoever can do it the best is going to play.
Yep. East Coast Kev says, everybody is mad about the 15-point spread against Colorado. More money for me to make. If I were the players, I'd use this as motivation. Vegas doesn't respect you enough to beat UCF. Use that.
They're not just saying that you can't beat UCF. They're saying you don't even belong on the same field as them.
Yeah, they're saying you're 2 touchdowns worse.
Yeah. Which I bet you that's the biggest. I don't want to say that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the biggest spread in the Big 12 this week.
I'll look that up if you want to read this.
Oh, okay.
Or I can.
I'll look it up.
Coach Barry says, I'm winning stacks off that crazy plus 14 spread. Given to our Buffs when we win, UCF has 1 sack this year, and top defensive tackle John Walker out injured this game. UCF's DB suspect, TCU middle slant passes killed them. TCU was anything passing game was killing them, honestly.
Yeah, so I was right. 14.5 points is the largest spread in the Big 12 this week. Iowa State is favored by 14 over Houston. And the only other one that's kind of close is Utah being favored by 11 over Arizona, which is kind of crazy to me as well.
Arizona sucks.
I hope so.
They do.
Let me just reframe this. The public and the sports books are saying that Colorado is one of the worst teams in the conference and UCF is one of the best teams in the conference.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, Houston's 1-3, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
They've got them closer to ranked Iowa State.
Yep.
Now they are at home. Than Colorado to UCF. And again, it's not all the sports books who make the line. It's also the public and where the money's going. And I think yesterday someone, Matt Smith, showed me that I think like 73 or 78% of the money was coming in on UCF. So that's why the line moved up.
Yep.
It's disrespectful. Not necessarily from anyone specifically, but you guys got to go out there and show everyone how wrong they are. I mean, the same attitude you took out to CSU and everyone was talking about how, you're going to lose that one and your season's going to be over.
Right. Exactly. East Coast Kev again says, I would like to see more screen and tight end packages added to the offense. Shimmer can mix it up a little. Yeah, we've talked about that.
How about us seeing an under center run last week?
That was incredible.
And it was a counter.
Do we get a draw this week?
Maybe.
Last super chat. Jared says, shout out women's basketball and men's basketball teams practice has started. Yes, it has this week.
Bro, these seasons sneak up on me so much.
Yeah, it's just a whirlwind.
I got an alert on my phone of the Avs preseason game final score, and I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, I mean, shout out to the basketball programs.
Bro, it's September 25th. Next week we're in October.
It all goes by so fast once the season starts.
It really does. It really does. Head on over to the shop. Buy the Heisman campaign shirt.
Let's have a Heisman campaign. How fun is this?
Let's make it happen, man. Support us. Support Travis.
Support Children's Hospital Colorado.
Support Children's Hospital Colorado. We will be back same time tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. 3:15 tomorrow from the DNVR bar. We'll see you guys then. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.